So let us revise unit 2, that is drugs acting on autonomic nervous system. Okay, so quite lengthier because we had to discuss the basic anatomy of ANS, autonomic nervous system, which consists of sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system. Sympathetic nervous system can also be called as adrenergic nervous system, and parasympathetic nervous system can also be called as cholinergic nervous system. So initially we have discussed how the neurons will be. Okay, so from CNS, that is from the brain, the nerve fiber will be connecting, a single nerve fiber will be connecting the signal center to that of skeletal muscle. Okay, that is somatic nervous system. We don't discuss this in unit 2. Okay, then we have parasympathetic nervous system and sympathetic nervous system. We have two neurons. Okay, one arising from the center of signal. Okay, then it will have a junction called ganglia. From that ganglia, second nerve fiber goes to the site of action. Okay, so here you need to observe the differences in here. Whatever the ganglia center is there, no, if the nerve fiber is coming and ending up at ganglia, that is called as presynaptic nerve fiber, and the ganglia, the nerve fiber which is starting from ganglia is called postsynaptic nerve fiber. Okay, so these anatomy and things will be discussed for you in your pharmacology subject. Okay, so here you observe the length of parasympathetic presynaptic nerve fiber is more than the postganglionic nerve fiber. Okay, and it is opposite in case of sympathetic. Then we need to remember the distribution of receptors. Then we saw the action potential. So whenever some stimulus is given, there will be change in ionic concentrations. Okay, inside the cell and outside the cell. When a signal needs to be transmitted through the membrane of that cell, okay, the membrane outside is extracellular, inside is intracellular. Okay, so there needs to be a change in concentration of ions, particularly sodium and potassium. Okay, when sodium comes in, potassium goes out while executing the signal. Okay, so that will cause a change in conformation of that membrane. Okay, and then we saw the distribution of receptors. So in heart we have beta 1 type of adrenergic receptor and M2 type of cholinergic receptor. So what they do, adrenergic system means if adrenaline is there going and binding to the beta 1 receptor in the heart. Okay, in the heart we have subparts sinoatrial node, SA node, atrial muscle, atrioventricular node, ventricular muscle. Okay, so sympathetic nervous system will increase the heart rate, force of contraction at atrial muscle, automaticity at AV node. Okay, that means regular signaling. Okay, regular production of the signal. Then ventricular muscle also automaticity is increased and force is also increased. So it will, on a whole, it will increase the heart rate. While cholinergic system is in action at heart through M2 receptors, it will reduce the rate of the heart, force of contraction of the muscle, conduction velocity, and there will be a AV block. That means the signal will be blocked by AV node, and there is no effect on ventricular muscles when it comes to cholinergic. And in blood vessels, if you see, coronary artery arterioles will be there for supplying blood to the heart itself. Okay, and muscle, blood vessels, blood vessels present in muscle, and viscera and skin means the other organs which are present away from the body, center of the body. Okay, and in the brain, erectile tissue, salivary glands. So these all are the various arterioles supplying various organs. So particular receptors alpha, beta 2 is there in muscles, blood vessels present in muscle. Okay, what it do? Dilation. Dilation means it will increase the blood flow. Fine. So likewise, if you see cholinergic innervation, you have in erectile tissue and salivary gland only, but you don't have in coronary artery, muscle, viscera, skin, brain. So here, when dilation happens, blood flow to that particular area increases. That will reduce the blood pressure. Okay, when constriction happens, that will increase the blood pressure. Okay, increased blood pressure is known as when it comes to heart, right? Heart, if beating at higher speeds, we can call it as tachycardia. And when heart rate is very slow, we can call it as bradycardia. Okay. When it is relating to the blood vessels, constriction will increase the blood pressure, dilation will decrease the blood pressure. Okay. So that is the reason most of the medical practitioners tell to keep your mind cool and calm so that the blood will be supplied in enough quantity to all the organs so that every vital function of the body is not interrupted. And viscera, bronchi, you have beta 2 that will dilate dilate the bronchioles, and cholinergic system will constrict. Okay, in glands, gastrointestinal glands, smooth muscle glands, sphincters are like what we say, they are the entry points, they present at entry point of our stomach and various other regions. Fine, glands and bladder, urinary bladder, uterus, if it is pregnant or non-pregnant, what actions are happening. If it is pregnant, alpha receptor will induce contraction. If in non-pregnants, it will beta 2 receptor will induce relaxation. Okay, so depending on the state of the body, the type of receptor will be into the action. Male sex organs, ejaculation through alpha. So observe the counterparts of cholinergic system. So they are constricting smooth muscles, okay, and they are secreting from glands. Okay, cholinergic system is the responsible for secretion of saliva and gastric juice, etc. Motility of the gastrointestinal tract is increased by cholinergic system. Okay, dilatation of sphincters so that food is in and excretion is out. Then sphincter relaxed in bladder. Okay, then erection of male sex organs. In eye pupil, adrenaline will cause dilatation through alpha receptor. Cholinergic system, acetylcholine will induce constriction through M3 receptor. Ciliary muscle, relaxation through beta receptor in case of adrenaline, and contraction of ciliary muscle in case of cholinergic nervous system through M3 receptor. In skin, you have sweat glands and pilomotor. Through sweat glands, secretion is induced, but there is no particular receptor. Through blood, okay, and there is no effect of cholinergic nervous system on sweat glands and pilomotor of the skin. Piloerection, like goosebumps, okay, through adrenaline in the skin. Salivary glands secretion, lacrimal glands, kidney, renin secretion through adrenaline, and there is no effect of acetylcholine. Liver, glycogenolysis, that means glycogen will be broken down in the body to produce sugar, because it is a hormone of fight and flight, right? So we need energy for fighting. So likewise you can remember. And gluconeogenesis, okay, synthesis of glucose from other sources than the glycogen. Okay, that is gluconeogenesis. So relate the actions with the receptors and particular division of the nervous system, autonomic nervous system. So simply correlate the actions of adrenaline in fight and flight mode, and correlate the actions of cholinergic nervous system when your mind stays calm. Okay. Then we saw the biosynthesis of catecholamines. The chief catecholamines are dopamine, noradrenaline, and adrenaline. So the biosynthesis starts from phenylalanine. Through the action of hydroxylase is converted into tyrosine. Tyrosine again acted upon by hydroxylase and will be converted into dopa. Dopa will have the catechol ring. Catechol ring is the phenyl ring having two hydroxyl groups at adjacent positions is catechol ring. Then we have ethyl link, to which you have NH2 and COOH, carboxylic acid and amine. That is the general structure of any amino acid. Okay, based on the side chain, the amino acid differs. Then dopa will be acted upon by decarboxylase, so carboxylic acid will be removed and this is converted into dopamine. Then the dopamine will be acted upon by beta hydroxylase, that will add another hydroxyl on the beta carbon. So the carbon that is directly attached to amino group is alpha, and the next carbon to alpha carbon is the beta. So beta hydroxyl will be, this compound will be called as noradrenaline. So the name NAR is given to the compound where there is a similar compound existing, but the difference is only lack of methyl group. Then we'll call it as NOR. We'll add prefix NOR before the name. So there is another compound called adrenaline. So from adrenaline, this compound lacks only one methyl group. So we can call it as NOR adrenaline. So this will be acted upon by N-methyl transferase and we'll get methyl group attached at nitrogen of that amine. Then it is the adrenaline. So this is the biosynthesis. Then we saw the metabolism of catecholamines. So here adrenaline and noradrenaline. So chief enzyme that is acting to deamination. Deamination means removal of amino group is monoamino oxidase. Amino group is being oxidized by the enzyme called monoamino oxidase. So finally the final product is VMA, 3-methoxy-4-hydroxy-mandelic acid. VMA further will be undergoing glucuronide or sulfate conjugation and will be excreted subsequently. So these are the distribution of receptors. Okay, then this is the pictorial representation of axons, particularly sympathetic nervous system. How the noradrenaline is taking up and how it is released. Okay, will be released in the synapse. And this classification belongs to pharmacology. We have our own customized this one. Then antiadrenergics or sympatholytics. Okay, we'll see our notes. We'll go through our notes. So coming to parasympathetic nervous system, we saw acetylcholine. Choline will have this N CH3, CH3, CH3. 3 CH3s attached to nitrogen atom plus CH2, CH2. Ethylene bridge on this side are called choline molecule. Okay, and only this 3 CH3s attached to nitrogen are called ammonium ion. Okay, ammonium ion, and this will have acetate. So acetylcholine, choline molecule and acetyl group. So acetylcholine. Please mute yourself. So we saw the synthesis of acetylcholine. Okay, so acetylcholine is the chief neurotransmitter in parasympathetic nervous system or cholinergic nervous system. Okay, synthesis, how it is synthesized? It is synthesized in the nerve endings, cholinergic nerve endings. Please, someone is creating this one background disturbance. Please mute yourself. Fine. Okay, so synthesis, storage and release of acetylcholine. Okay, so choline acetyl coenzyme will be first added with combined with choline molecule to form acetylcholine. Okay, the choline molecules are transported inside the axon through active transport. Okay, acetylcholine will be released out of mitochondria. Okay, and both will be transported into vesicles. After the signal to release acetylcholine, there is a process called exocytosis, where the vesicle storing acetylcholine comes into the membrane nerve ending and will merges with that nerve and opens up itself and releases acetylcholine into the synapse. After that, After showing the action, it will be catabolized or broken down by the enzyme called as cholinesterase. Okay, and the broken molecules will be again
నిన్న రాత్రి ఒక్క జాయిన్ తింటే నేను ఒక అడం తింటూ తినే అన్న ముగ్గురం కొట్టినాం కుమార్.
okay, fine. So this is again repetition of the receptors distribution table. Now let us go quickly through our notes. If you have any doubts in the notes, please do ask me. So we need to see this classification of sympathomimetics or sympathetic agonists. Okay, so we have direct acting and indirect acting. Under direct acting, we have endogenous catecholamines. Examples are dopamine, epinephrine, and norepinephrine. Epinephrine's other name is adrenaline, norepinephrine's other name is noradrenaline. Then we have alpha adrenergic receptor agonists. Examples phenylephrine, nafazolin, xylometazoline, oxymetazoline, clonidine, methyl dopa. Then beta adrenergic receptor agonists, we have isoproterenol, other name is isoprenaline, terbutaline, salbutamol, other name is albuterol, and bitalterol. Then we have dual alpha and beta adrenergic receptor agonist, that is dobutamine. So these all are the direct acting agents. Indirect acting agents, examples are amphetamine, hydroxyamphetamine, propylhexidine. Okay, we have third category, that is sympathomimetics with mixed mechanism of action, either direct or indirect. Examples are ephedrine and metaraminol. Okay, you have their uses here. Okay, so metaraminol is used as a vasopressor in the treatment of hypotensive, very low blood pressure state occurring with spinal anesthesia. When spinal anesthesia is induced, if a state of very hypotension is there, we will use metaraminol. Ephedrine used for the treatment of urinary incontinence. Okay, there is a problem in micturition. Okay, in such cases we use ephedrine. Then propylhexedrine is used as nasal decongestant, and we missed one, that is pseudoephedrine is also nasal decongestant. And hydroxyamphetamine and amphetamine are used as anorexic action to treat obesity, and also they are CNS stimulants. Okay, majorly they are used for the stimulation of CNS. Dobutamine has myocardial infarction and cardio heart problem. Okay, where heart is unable to beat regularly and there is a chance of cardiac arrest, we use dobutamine. Bitalterol is a beta agonist used in asthma and COPD. COPD is chronic obstructive pulmonary disorder. Salbutamol is asthma, terbutaline and isoproterenol all are asthma, used for the asthma. Okay, phenylephrine is a nasal decongestant, mydriatic and vasopressor agent. Nafazolin is also vasoconstrictor and decongestant. Xylometazoline same, oxymetazoline same. Clonidine antihypertensive agent, methyl dopa antihypertensive agent. Then dopamine is used for the treatment of shock, adrenaline for broncholytic and anti-asthmatic that will prevent bleeding during the surgery. Norepinephrine or noradrenaline is a potent agonist at cardiac beta 1. That means prefers to act on heart. Okay, increases myocardial contraction. Then after we saw the chemical structures of the drugs, and this is outline. Okay, before going to that one, in notes we have provided the biosynthesis of catecholamines. Okay, so here we started with tyrosine, the amino acid tyrosine. Earlier we saw with the phenylalanine. Phenylalanine converted to tyrosine, then tyrosine to dopa, dopa to dopamine, dopamine to noradrenaline to adrenaline. The sequence is important. Then this is the description of metabolism of catecholamines, receptor distribution we saw. Then we saw the structure activity relationships. So what it was saying, So sympathomimetic drugs may be divided into catechol and non-catecholamines. Okay, that means catechol ring is somewhat modified. Okay, so these are the parent chain of the sympathomimetics. The what positions will make their selectivity towards either alpha or beta is discussed. Okay, what changes needs to be done, what changes are not preferred are discussed in structure activity relationships. So this is the classification repeated. So we saw the structures and the synthesis of phenylephrine. Okay, so you know the structures of dopamine, epinephrine and norepinephrine. Remember them from the biosynthesis itself. Then it will be easy to compare other drugs. So phenylephrine, we have the starting material 3-chloroacetyl phenyl for the synthesis will be added with methylamine. We got our whole molecule except that C double bond one needs to be converted into COH. So that is it. Is done by reduction of carbonyl group. So nafazolin is naphthalene combined with imidazole with the methyl link, and clonidine will have dichlorobenzene or phenyl ring attached with imidazole ring, but here the link is amino group. Oxymetazoline and xylometazoline. In xylometazoline, xylene is this one benzene ring with two methyl groups, that is xylene, right? So xylo methyl group, and this is imidazole again. So if it is added with extra OH here, that is oxymetazole. Okay, so methyl dopa is having to the dopamine you have one CH3 and one COOH extra, so methyl dopa. And beta adrenergic receptor agonist isoproterenol aminoethanol, this is aminoethanol, and you have isopropyl group, and remaining it is comparable with that of the basic structure. Terbutaline, will have tertiary butyl group, and observe this. So everything is compared in the notes and you have to compare and practice. So here if you observe the OH, both the OH groups are not present on the adjacent carbons, but they are present on the alternate carbons. Salbutamol, we need to see the synthesis, we saw that. Okay, salicylaldehyde, by remembering the structure of salicylaldehyde you can remember the structure of salbutamol because it will have that moiety. Okay, here instead of CHO you have CH2OH, methyl alcohol. And how it is synthesized? Starting from methyl salicylate and adding it with chloroacetyl chloride. It will undergo Friedel-Crafts acylation. Fine, then we'll add N-tertiary butyl benzylamine. Okay, and in the second step, we'll reduce it using inorganic reagent, that is lithium aluminum hydride. Okay, so what happens? The reduction happens, and after adding N-tertiary butyl benzylamine. Okay, so whatever the reduction is there to be taken at amino group will be taken, and that whole moiety will be removed and only isopropyl group will be added. Okay, then we'll reduce it selectively at C double bond O carbonyl group to get OH. And bitoalterol is looking big, but it is very easy to remember by making this phenyl ring as a center, and these two OH groups, the hydrogen of OH groups is replaced with 4-methyl benzoate. Otherwise, this side chain is comparable with our other previous drugs. So this is a prodrug of Coltrol. Okay, in the Coltrol, this benzoate will be removed and the active drug is released inside the body. And we have dobutamine. So we have butylamine to remember. Then we have other structures, hydroxy amphetamine and amphetamine. Amphetamine is, although not mentioned in the syllabus, is frequently asked. So there is a difference only optically, but the structure is same. Okay, for amphetamine and ephedrine, I guess. Pseudoephedrine, if you see phenyl ring, here OH group. Okay, hydroxyamphetamine and pseudoephedrine are similar in the structure. Okay, but they are stereoisomers. Propylhexedrine, you have cyclohexane ring. So you have to remember, out of protein it is having cyclohexane instead of phenyl rings. And ephedrine, yeah, ephedrine is having similar structure as that of pseudoephedrine also. Only position of OH is, instead of here, it is present here. Meterminal, so this is the structure. You have only OH, only single OH instead of double OH in the catechol ring. Okay, so it is non-catechol, and you have CH, CS, CH3 and NH2. Okay, then salbutamol synthesis we already saw, and then we moved on to adrenergic antagonists. So sympatholytics. So ergot alkaloids, we have dihydroergotamine and methotrexate. Quinazolin's example is prazosin. Imidazolines, tolazolin and phentolamine. Beta haloalkylamines, we have example phenoxybenzamine. Fine, so these two structures, dihydroergotamine and methotrexate, needs to be remembered by making this amide bond as the center. And you have to remember this part separately and this part separately. When you compare dihydroergotamine with that of methotrexate, this structure is a branched chain. Okay, and here it is somewhat similar, only expression of hydrogens difference. Okay, and here methyl group is extra. So then if you see the prazosin, okay, you have piperazine ring. Okay, piperazine ring, and you have furonyl ring. Piperazine, so praza, aza, so diaza. Okay, two nitrogens, di, nitrogen aza, two di. Okay, diaza, so praza, prazosin. So remember likewise. So remember the heterocyclics present, how they are connected to each other. Then tolazolin. Okay, tolin means a benzene ring with methyl group. So to that attached is the imidazole ring. So how it is synthesized? By condensing phenyl acetonitrile with that of ethylene diamine. This will be cyclized and attached at this methyl group, and cyano group will be leaving. And if you see the phentolamine structure, this is, where is phentolamine? Here, I guess. Okay, this is phentolamine. You have phenyl rings, two phenyl rings attached to the amine ring, and you have again imidazole. And this is the structure of phenoxybenzamine, phenoxybenzyl amine. Remember, ethyl chloride as the side chain and one methyl substitution. And there is something needed to learn about ergot alkaloids, is that they are actually dried sclerotium of the fungus. Fungus name is Claviceps purpurea. They develop on the plants belonging to the family Graminae and Cyperaceae. Okay, so such as examples are there: rye, wheat, oats, barley, and rice. Okay, so two kinds, one is natural, other one is cultivated, artificial. Okay, so the isolation of ergotoxin took place in 1906, ergotamine was in 1920, and the ergometrin is in 1935. So ergometrin or ergonovin is other name, is oxytocic compound. Okay, the alkaloids are actually substituted amides of lysergic acid. Okay, they form simple amide as side chain like ergometrin, and others have polypeptide like side chain as ergotamine and ergotoxin. So we didn't discuss details because we saw only two examples. One is ergometrin and other one is methotrexate. Okay, so the simplest ergot alkaloid is ergometrin, which contains lysergic acid combined with 2-amino 1-propanol. So this is a brief write-up, so that if in case unexpectedly if some question appears like write a short notes on ergot alkaloids, we need to write at least some points. So that is the reason I have provided this ready material for you, at least minimum one. Okay. Then ergot alkaloids are drugs of choice in the treatment of migraine cluster and other vascular headaches. So then we need to write these few points and draw the structures of dihydroergotamine and methotrexate in case if the question is asked. Then we have beta adrenergic blocking agents. Most of them are used in hypertension to cure hypertension. We have two main classes. One is aryl ethanolamine, other one is aryl oxypropanolamines. Okay. So these drugs we have saw, okay, ethanolamines. So that this chain will be constant. But the aryl side chain this side and alkyl side chain will differ in other drugs. So here aryl propanolamines, this will be aryl oxy, right? Aryl oxy propanolamines. This is carvedilol. So aryl oxy propanolamines. You have propranolol as a starting prototype, and that will be constant, the one which is highlighted. And the aryl oxy, the aryl ring would change, and here most of the times it is isopropyl. Okay, only changes will be the hetero aryl ring. Okay, so the synthesis of propranolol happens from alpha naphthol and epichlorohydrin. Will the ring opening reaction of epichlorohydrin will be facilitated to add isopropylamine to the side chain and we'll get propranolol. Okay, so this is atenolol. Again, the change is here. You have CONH2 attached to this phenyl ring. Earlier in propranolol, you have naphthalene, right? But here it is phenyl ring. Here metoprolol, you have here extension. Instead of CONH2 in atenolol, you have CS2O, CS3 extra. And these are simple forms. So aryl is the heterocyclic ring and R is the isopropyl group in most of the cases, and this is common. So based on this, the name is allotted. Then we have structure activity relationships of beta adrenergic blocking agents. Please go through them carefully. Okay, so the heterocyclic ring can be replaced with variety of ring systems. Okay, if you replace catechols hydroxyl group with chlorine or phenyl ring, that will retain beta blocking activity. So we can replace hydroxyl group with chlorine or phenyl ring. And then disubstitution decreases beta blocking activity, and activity is maintained when phenylethyl or hydroxyphenylethyl or methoxyphenylethyl groups are added to amine. Okay, so but we didn't observe that. Most of the times it is isopropyl group only, right? So the 2-carbon chain is essential for activity, that is ethylene link. Introduction of OCH2 in case of aryl oxypropanolamine, second category. Okay, that will be that will provide beta blocking agents. Example propranolol. So aryl oxypropanolamines, we have first example propranolol itself. The nitrogen atom should be secondary amine for optimum beta blocking activity. Secondary amine means it should be attached to at least 2 carbons. That is called secondary amine. Beta blockers exhibit a high degree of seroselectivity in the production of their beta blocking effect. The carbon of side chain bearing hydroxyl group must be S configuration for optimal affinity to the beta receptor. You know R and S configurations. In that we need S configuration for optimal activity. Okay, for beta blockers. So this is it. So I might have not discussed elaborately the SAR of sympathomimetics, right? So let us see that too. So they are majorly catechol containing and non-catechol containing. So the receptor selectivity of the drug depends on the substituent at aromatic ring, alpha and beta carbon and amino group. So wherever the substitution, maybe the catechol, maybe the ethylene side chain, maybe the amino group. Okay, but this basic structure is very much important for receptor selectivity. If it has to go and bind to the receptor, it should have an aromatic ring, probably catechol, then alpha and beta carbon of ethylene bridge, then amino group. Okay, so maximum sympathomimetic activity is seen in beta phenyl ethylamine containing hydroxyl group in the meta-para positions of the aromatic ring and beta hydroxy group for correct stereochemical configuration. So simply it is a chemical description of the chemical structures of the catecholamines, dopamine, adrenaline, and noradrenaline. So such structure is very much optimum for binding to the alpha and beta receptors. The presence of the amino group in phenylethylamine is important for direct agonist activity. Agonist activity is through the amino group, okay, in the terminal end. The amino group should be separated from aromatic ring by 2 carbon atoms for optimal activity. So it is there. The catechol is separated the amine through ethylene bridge. That is what separation needed is insisting. Okay. Primary and secondary amines are more potent direct acting agents than tertiary and quaternary. So primary and secondary amines are good, but tertiary and quaternary amines are not preferred. Okay. Bulky methyl groups are not preferred. As the size of alkyl group of the nitrogen increases, alpha receptor agonist activity decreases. So if you increase the size of the alkyl groups attached to the nitrogen, that will decrease the alpha receptor selectivity and that will increase beta receptor selectivity. Example is isoproterenol. So observe the chemical structure to note the difference between isoproterenol and adrenaline or noradrenaline. The nature of substituent can also affect beta 1 and beta 2 receptor selectivity. Example, hydroxy group at third and fifth position in compounds with large amino substituents confers beta 2 selectivity. Example, metaproterenol and terbutalol. So observe those two structures. And methyl or ethyl substitution on the alpha carbon of the ethylamine side chain reduces the direct receptor agonist activity at both alpha and beta receptors. So we saw most of the times beta carbon getting substituted but not the alpha one. So it is better to not substitute alpha carbon. So the presence of alpha alkyl group increases the duration of action by making the compound resistant to metabolic deamination by monoamino oxidase. So in order to increase the duration of action by inhibiting monoamino oxidase, we can uh, add alkyl group to the alpha alkyl group means alkyl group attached to the alpha carbon. So if we add some alkyl group to the alpha carbon which we don't want to substitute, that will prevent its metabolism through MAO, monoamino oxidase. So phenylethylamine lacking both the aromatic OH and beta OH on the ethyl chain produce all their effects by norepinephrine release. So in order to release noradrenaline and show the action, so they generally lack aromatic hydroxyl and beta hydroxyl. Okay. Substitution on the beta carbon atom generally decreases central stimulant action and enhances both alpha and. So the reason for not showing central nervous system stimulation is the beta carbon substitution. So example, epinephrine is less potent than methamphetamine as a CNS stimulant. So observe the structure of methamphetamine and epinephrine, but more potent vasoconstrictor and bronchodilator. So this is it. So go through the notes, and if you have any doubts, you can ask. Do you have any doubts?